What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Tuesday, July 8th, 2014, delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, which is RAYMELO, and on Twitter @The Enter Report.
Comedienne Rosie O'Donnell is close to signing a deal to return back to ABC's The View. But the question is, will she be sitting next to former Republican vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin? A source very close to the production of the ABC talk show tells Entertainment Tonight that O'Donnell's deal is not completely done, but they are extremely close to wrapping up negotiations. News of O'Donnell's pending return to The View comes after Barbara Walters' departure from the program in May and the announcement that both Jenny McCarthy and Sherry Shepherd are leaving. Entertainment Tonight also is hearing that Palin is in early discussions to be on the show, but she is just one of many being considered. Some of the production believe she might be too polarizing for the daytime talk show audience. Meanwhile, there's a lot of people behind the scenes working to reshape the show, and Entertainment Tonight sources say there's a sense of excitement at the network. 7 years after his last appearance, Harry Potter has returned. Like his original adoring fans, the boy wizard is all grown up in this new 1,500-word chapter from author j-k-rowling, which was published on the site pottermore.com on Tuesday. It crashed the site, so there's a link to the story on the Today Show. The news finds Harry and his wife Ginny attending the Quidditch World Cup accompanied by the married pair of Ron and Hermione. The article is written in the voice of vicious Daily Prophet gossip reporter Rita Skeeter, who doesn't always have the nicest or substantiated things to say about the beloved heroes of Dumbledore's army. But here's what we know. Harry's working at the Ministry of Magic, which is about to turn 34, and as Skeeter says, there are a couple of threads of silver in the famous Arb's black hair, but he continues to wear the distinctive round glasses that some might say are better suited to a style-deficient 12-year-old. End quote. He also has a cut on his cheek, which Skeeter speculates could mean dark days ahead, given Potter's important job as defender against the dark arts. Ron used to work at the Ministry with Harry, but now co-manages his brother's joke shop, Weasley's Wizard Weasels. His hair is thinning. Hermione is rising through the ranks of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, where she serves as deputy. Ginny is a journalist who will be covering the World Cup final. She and Harry are still married, though Skeeter charges that cracks begin to show in a union that the Potters are determined to promote as happy. Maybe Ginny reading that Rowling regrets not pairing Harry and Hermione. Neville Longbottom is a teacher of herbiology at Hogwarts, and who wouldn't want to take this class? Luna Lovegood is a lovable spacey. The news story coincides quickly, conveniently, with the opening of the new Diagon Alley section of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Studios in Orlando. Apollo Nida, husband of Real Housewives of Atlanta personality Fadira Parks, was sentenced to 8 years in prison Tuesday in U.S. District Court, Northern District of Georgia, on charges of conspiring to commit mail, wire, and bank fraud. A representative from the U.S. Attorney's Office told the Wrap. 35-year-old Nida, who was arrested in January, had faced up to 30 years in prison and a fine of up to $1 million. His 8-year prison sentence will be followed by 5 years of supervised release. The reality TV personality pleaded guilty in May. According to the United States Attorney Sally Quillian Yates, beginning in August 2009, Nida and others obtained stolen checks by stealing them or buying them from other criminal associates. The stolen checks involved in the scheme included the United States Treasury checks as well as checks stolen from the pension funds of Delta Airlines. They also obtained funds by filing fraudulent tax returns with the Internal Revenue Service, making fraudulent claims against the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in at least 11 states, all in the names of victims whose identities have been stolen. Nida's fraud scheme harmed more than 50 victims, the U.S. Attorney's Office said in a statement. Reginald J. Moore, who is a special agent in charge of the United States Secret Service Atlanta Field Office, said today's sentence exemplifies impartial justice regarding economic class or perceived celebrity status. Nida's sentence should be an eye-opener for other like-minded criminals whose schemes to steal victims' identities, defraud them, and ignore the consequence of their actions. U.S. District Judge Charles A. Panel Jr. also ordered Nida to pay restitution to the victims of his offenses. A separate hearing to calculate the restitution amount is scheduled for July 17th. And in a related story, Real Housewives of New York cast member Sonja Morgan has been putting a positive spin on her bankruptcy procedures. Looks like things may have been more out of her control than she admitted. She talked in the media about considering a sale of her French video to help her come out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy, listing it for $7 to $8 million. But her bankruptcy court documents tell a different story. Those documents state that it was a trustee in her bankruptcy, which she filed in November 2010 after a $7 million court judgment was filed against her, who made the sale. Not only was the sale for less than Morgan wanted at $5.7 million, but Morgan had no say in the deal at all, according to media reports. As detailed in the documents, there were several issues with the property, which is why the trustee wound up selling it for significantly less than Morgan was seeking. This is just the latest in a disappointing turn of events for the Real Housewives of New York star as she tries to pull herself together financially. The initial lawsuit that led to the $7 million judgment was a result of the movie she financed with her then-husband J.A. Morgan in 2006 through her company Sonia Productions. At the same time, her marriage was falling apart, culminating in a 2008 divorce. The Hannibal Pictures film Fast Flash to Bang Time was to star John Travolta. However, Morgan never paid the promised money back to the film, leading to the lawsuit and ultimately a $7 million judgment against her, which was upheld by the U.S. Court of Appeals in 2011. In her bankruptcy filing, Morgan listed her debt at $19.8 million, with her assets at more than $13.5 million. Comedian Cat Williams in trouble again. He got pulled over in Malibu Tuesday evening by sheriff's deputies investigating his security guard for tasing a random guy on Pacific Coast Highway. Law enforcement sources tell us the guy started kicking a car driven by Cat's assistant, who was following Cat while he rode a Can-Am Spider. When Cat's security guard got out of the car, TMZ was told the stranger got aggressive and the security guard zapped him with a taser. The guy then waved down sheriff deputies in the area and explained what had happened. Deputies tracked down Cat, pulled him over, and questioned him and the guard about the incident. TMZ is told no one got arrested, not Cat's security guard or the guy he tased. One of the paparazzis that spoke to Cat on the side of the PCH just moments after the incident, and his version jives almost 100% with law enforcement. He did add that the guy claimed to be a lifeguard and hurled the N-word during the altercation. A sound engineer who claimed he was a key producer creator of Rockefeller's entire body of work between 1999 and 2000 wants a declaration from a judge. He is much the owner of the 6 albums as the label itself. Chauncey Mahan claims in a new lawsuit obtained by TMZ he was the sound engineer who was one of the first masters of Pro Tools production software and was instrumental in creating the sound for a number of Rockefeller's biggest releases, including Jay-Z's classic albums, The Life and Times of S. Carter and the Dynasty album. TMZ broke the story. Jay-Z and Roc Nation filed an extortion police report earlier this year claiming Chauncey was holding boxes of master recording hostage, demanding $100,000 for the music. Jay-Z set up a sting operation where his people met Chauncey at a storage facility in the San Fernando Valley, and unbeknownst to him, the LAPD was there and seized the box. Cops still have them. Chauncey now wants a judge to say he was so essential to the creation of the music, he's a co-owner of the copyright. As such, it would give him the right to get the masters back. Jay-Z and Roc Nation dropped their extortion complaint against Chauncey. Pam Anderson and Rick Salomon are calling it quits. This will be Pam's second split from Salomon, whom she married in 2007 and stayed with all of 2 months. She got the marriage annulled, and she was also married to Tommy Lee and Kid Rock. Pamela went public in January saying she married Salomon again. Interesting timing. Salomon, a world-class poker player, won $2.8 million in the World Series of Poker, big one for one drop last Tuesday. Pam filed on Thursday, so under the community property laws, she gets half by the skin of her teeth unless there's a prenup. Salomon was also well known for co-starring with Paris Hilton in the famous sex tape One Night in Paris. There are claims Two heroines from two of the world's most popular young adult franchises came together in the most unlikely of ways on Monday when Jennifer Lawrence facepalmed Emma Watson at Christian Dior's Fashion Week runaway show in Paris. The Hunger Games and Harry Potter starlets posed for a series of pictures that grew increasingly more playful, and eventually the whole photo op developed into Lawrence rubbing her hand in Watson's face. Though it's unclear how chummy Katniss Everdeen and Hermione Granger are in real life, they certainly seem at ease at the Dior event. It's a safe bet that fan fiction authors all across the internet took notice and are now hard at working imaging up wild face palming adventures for the duo. Lawrence, who's currently the face of Dior handbags, and Watson sat center stage at Dior's runway in the gardens of Muse Rodin and flanked the company's CEO, Sidney Toledano. They all watched together as the Fall-Winter 2014-2015 collection parade in front of them. Andrew Rector, the New York Yankees fan caught sleeping at a ballgame, filed a $10 million defamation lawsuit against ESPN and the network's announcers, according to a report by the LA Times. Camera viewers watched the April 13th contest between the Yankees and their bitter rival, the Boston Red Sox, were treated to unexpected bonus footage of attendee Andrew Rector napping in the stands. Home viewers might have chuckled at the sight of a fan sleeping through an important divisional game, but Rector says his life was negatively impacted by the coverage, so he filed suit against ESPN and Major League Baseball Advanced Media and on-air commentators John Kruk and Dan Shulman. In the suit, it says, in the course of watching the game, the plaintiff napped, and this opened an unending verbal cascade against the napping plaintiff. The complainant also alleged ESPN host added malicious voice-over commentary. The lawsuit claims Rector was called words like stupor, fatty, unintelligent, stupid, knowing and intending the same to be heard and listened to by millions of people all over the world, including people who know the plaintiff and interact with the plaintiff in person. The worldwide leader in sports, however, begged to differ. The comments attributed to ESPN and our announcers were clearly not said in our telecast. The claim presented here are wholly without merit, ESPN said in a statement to the RAF. A clip circulating the internet from that day's telecast doesn't include that language, but it does show both ESPN commentators making light of Rector's mid-game nap. John Kruk said, "It's not the place to come to sleep. I'll tell you what, though, how comfortable is that? He probably won't have any neck problems tomorrow." Schumann responded, "I mean, is this guy to his buddy who's just letting him sleep, or is he here alone? What's the deal with this guy?" Kruk added laughingly, maybe he's his buddy and he just likes him a lot better when he's asleep." End quote. Beyonce's father and former manager, Matthew Knowles, has been sued by a second woman who claimed he fathered her kid, and she's looking for a payday. According to TMZ, Viola Branscombe filed legal docs in Texas claiming Matthew got her pregnant in 2010, just after Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, filed for divorce. Tina filed because she found out Matthew was cheating on her with another woman who he knocked up in 2009. 30-year-old Branscombe tells us that she was a lingerie model, but now is a real estate agent. Matthew acknowledged in 2010 Alexandra Wright was indeed his baby mama, and he was ordered to pay $12,000 a month in child support, but that was reduced to $2,485 after Beyonce fired him and his income stream dried up. As for the current case, a story broke by BuzzFeed, Branscombe is asking for a DNA and a declaration of paternity and child support. And that is your entertainment report for Tuesday, July 8th, 2014. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RAYMULO. And on Twitter at The Enter Report. I'll see you again. Bye.